SpiderMan No Way Home now marks 31 chapters in the MCU to rank worst to best. How would you rank them? Iron Man to No Way Home. Let's talk about it. Welcome to Durbania. I'm Durbin, and this is my ranking of all 31 chapters of the MCU worst to best. Now, I call them chapters because I rank the movies and the shows together because I feel like the shows are continuing the exact same story, the exact same universe, and so they're just the next chapters in that, so chapters. So we got 31 chapters to rank. One show that I'm not going to be ranking, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I'm not going to be ranking that one because I quit watching it after season 2 because I lost interest, but also it seems to have veered away from MCU territory, and that's why I haven't historically done Daredevil and some of the other shows because it seemed like they were part of a different MCU. They're not in this ranking, but it seems in the future they might have to be included, but they're not here right now. So, diving into these 31 for sure chapters of the MCU, how would you rank them? 31, Thor, The Dark World. 30, Eternals, and 29, Captain Marvel. These bottom 3 are definitely 3 that I like, I enjoy, but I just don't feel the urge to watch an awful lot. I love Thor: The Dark World because, come on, Tom Hiddleston and Chris Hemsworth are always hilarious together. I'm glad they gave Tom Hiddleston more to do in that movie, so that's fantastic about it. What's not so great is it's overall kind of bland and vanilla, which is what I felt about Eternals and a little bit about Captain Marvel. One of the things that I like about Captain Marvel is the fact that you see the enemy constantly lying to her about the power that exists inside of her and about who she really is, which reminds me of the devil lying to us so that we don't realize who we are in Christ, because when we come to that full realization of who we are in Christ and walk in it, it makes us unstoppable. So that's a message that I like. Eternals does have some pretty cool stuff in it, but these 3 are where they are because they're kind of the bland ones to me. 28, What If? 27, The Incredible Hulk, and 26, Thor Ragnarok. Now, What If didn't stand out to me as like my favorite even of the shows. It was okay. I enjoyed it. And after staying through the credits of No Way Home and seeing that post-credit scene, it's like, okay, I can see way more of the relevance of this show now. So I'm kind of looking forward to seeing more of that. I always like The Incredible Hulk. I feel like it's underrated, but I really do enjoy that movie. And Thor Ragnarok, I always got to defend that it's this low on my list. And it's because it just had no balance at all. I mean, anytime something serious happened, like Thor's dad dying, we had to cover it up with some slapstick comedy thing. So there's a lot of heavy things that happen in this movie, and there's no balance. Infinity War gives us the balance. Thor and Rocket is hysterical together, but then you have those moments where you see what Thor is going through, and you feel the weight, and there was no breathing room for me with Thor Ragnarok. 25, Iron Man 2, 24, Black Widow, and 23, Iron Man 3. Again, like all the rest of the MCU, they're pretty decent movies. Both Black Widow and Iron Man 2, I kind of feel the same about, where it's like, yeah, they're there, and they're good. Iron Man 3 was really interesting, especially with Ben Kingsley as the Mandarin. But I was really disappointed because his performance was so good, and I was just very disappointed that he wasn't the actual villain. I'm glad, though, they gave Trevor a little bit of justice in Shang-Chi, and we did get a good Mandarin, but man, at the time I was watching Iron Man 3, I just loved Ben Kingsley's performance. It was just this dynamic villain, and I was just so sad that wasn't it. 22, Ant-Man and the Wasp. 21, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. 20, Ant-Man, and 19, Shang-Chi. So yes, I went through those pretty darn fast. But those are what I would call kind of my fun movies. I could pop them in anytime that I don't really want to think. I want to have a good laugh. In the case of Shang-Chi, it's just because I love Kung Fu. And now when you take superheroes and Marvel and Kung Fu movies and you put it all together in one, it's a lot of fun. And I've seen it like 3 times now. Every time I watch it, I just have a bit more fun with it. It did move down a little bit on my list, but that's only because as I was organizing my list this time, I realized Shang-Chi just isn't one of those ones that feels super deep to me. It's just one of those that is a lot of fun, and I really enjoy it for what it is. 18, The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. 17, Captain America, The First Avenger. And 16, WandaVision. Now, I'm sure by now you've noticed I'm kind of flying through these. It's because it's 31, and it's a lot. And honestly, I've talked a lot about these movies on all my other rankings and in their own separate videos, so be sure to check those out for sure. But Falcon and the Winter Soldier, I just wish that wasn't a series. If that was a movie and all of that condensed into a movie, it could have been action-packed and fast-moving. I think it could have been a lot better as a film. I love the first Avenger with Captain America. That's a great movie, but I feel like the other Captain America movies just go so much deeper, and they're so much more interesting and fun and action-packed. And then lastly, WandaVision, that one's just really interesting. And it left us in a really interesting place, and I really can't wait to get to Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. Which, speaking of, number 15, Loki. That is a really interesting show, and it only seems to be getting more interesting as we begin to explore the Marvel multiverse and what that all means. So I really can't wait to see where we go with Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness now, and how much deeper that takes us down the rabbit hole, and how much more interesting it retroactively makes Loki. And then I can't wait for season 2. Number 14, Thor. 13, Iron Man, and 12, Black Panther. Yes, I love the first Thor more than the other two. It is just my favorite. I love Iron Man. Who doesn't? Iron Man is fantastic, and I do love Black Panther. Such great action. So cool setting it in Wakanda. Very interesting villain. So overall, great movies. Number 11, SpiderMan Homecoming. Yeah, this one got moved up to almost the top 10, and it's because the Tom Holland Spider-Man just continues to not let me down. Each movie, I think, is progressively better than the one that came before it. Plus, I just love Tom Holland's performance as Spider-Man. So now that I've seen No Way Home, and that movie is just so fantastic, it took Homecoming and elevated it higher on my rankings. Just, you know, mathematics, I guess. I don't know. That work? Number 10, Avengers. 9, Avengers Age of Ultron. And number 8, Doctor Strange. Yeah, I did rank Age of Ultron above Avengers. I love Avengers. It's such a great classic film showing us how you can bring the team together, you know, and make it all work in the same universe. It's so cool. But then you have Age of Ultron. I love James Spader as Ultron. I just think they did a great job taking everything to the next level, introducing Wanda to get into their minds to test the strength of the team and to start the seeds of division that really grow up into a full crop by the time you get to Civil War. So Age of Ultron, I think, is really good, and I think it advances the story well. Plus, great character arc for Tony Stark, the stuff that leads him to sacrificing his life in Endgame. Number 7, Guardians of the Galaxy. Number 6, Far From Home. And number 5, SpiderMan No Way Home. Yep, the brand new one falls right here at number 5. I really did enjoy Spider-Man No Way Home. And recently, I was having a conversation with somebody down in the comment section, and it just dawned on me how No Way Home is an excellent picture of that phrase, with great power comes great responsibility. Because really, this movie opens with Peter Parker acting quite irresponsibly. For a lot of people, that was a negative because, I mean, seriously, it is kind of a negative, right? The fact that he didn't, you know, at least plead his case to MIT admissions before going to Doctor Strange to brainwash the entire world. But I think that's the picture it's trying to portray. He's not counting the cost. He's not seeking wisdom. And I said this in my review. You have MJ saying, well, why didn't you just come to me first? We could brainstorm a few things. And so it reminded me of Matthew 6:33, where it says God knows exactly what we need. So seek first his kingdom and his righteousness, and these other things will be added to us. So the fact that Peter didn't take the time to count the cost, to seek counsel, to get wisdom, and we see the true consequences of that, it's sad, but it's also a very good cautionary tale, and I feel like they did a great job with the emotions of it and bringing back the villains from the other Spider-Man movies and bringing back the Spider-Man, Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire. And oh my gosh, I love that scene where Tom Holland is diving after MJ. She's falling off the building and he can't get her because the Green Goblin stops him, but then Andrew Garfield jumps in and saves the day, and it's like this redemption moment when he couldn't save Gwen in The Amazing Spider-Man 2. Oh my gosh, the emotion on his face when that happened. So there's a lot of really interesting things in Spider-Man No Way Home that I really enjoyed, even if it's a little bit tragic and it feels like it could have been avoidable. I think that's the picture it's trying to present to us anyway. Number 4, Captain America Civil War. Number 3, The Winter Soldier. Love both of these Captain America movies. Civil War is great because the Avengers fall from the inside, and it just shows the destructive power of division and how we really cannot yield to that. We need to let go of bitterness, have forgiveness, have grace, and that's what we don't see in this movie. And because of that, they're divided right before their greatest enemy comes on the scene. And I love Winter Soldier because Winter Soldier actually tackles some serious issues. I mean, come on. Hydra is feeding fear into the world so that the world will hand over their freedoms because they're just too scared. So they want protection for freedom, or they'll hand over their freedom for protection. And so Captain America continuing to fight for freedom. It's really interesting, and it's kind of interesting to take, you know, Steve Rogers and all of his values and then finally explore that in the modern world. So Winter Soldier is really great for a lot of reasons, but that's one of my favorite. But I just also love, you know, the whole spy movie action-packed sequences they have. It's awesome. Number 2, Infinity War, and number 1, Endgame. I feel like until something truly great comes, those are kind of just fixed in the number 2 and number 1 positions. They were just great movies. Infinity War, because 10-year build-up, and that movie was action-packed from the beginning to the end. The way they divided up the heroes into those groups, like the chemistry was great. It kept everything moving. It was just done so well. In Endgame, it was slower paced, but it was dealing with the catastrophe of everybody blipping out of existence, and then how are they going to bring everybody back into existence? I know, I used the term blip wrong. I don't care. The point is, it was really cool and really interesting getting into that. And one of the reasons I like Endgame comes from this video I did called Endgame End Times. So definitely check out that video. I go into that a little bit more. So definitely check that out. But Infinity War and Endgame are definitely my 2 favorite of the MCU thus far, until something truly mind-blowing comes, and I have a feeling it's going to be on its way. So what did you think of this ranking, and how would you rank these movies worst to best? Let's talk about that in the comments, and while you're there, hit that subscribe button to become a Durbanian. Hit that bell by the subscribe button so you're notified for my next movie review, ranking video, theological analysis, or anything else I do here. I'm Durbin. Thanks for checking out Durbania.